Hello and welcome everyone to the fourth testing show. It's a PMP versus show. I don't have a better PMP title for the show, but I can see that people are already diligently joining the chat, which I appreciate. Shargo was already in there, LP Chip. I've already found out that one of the things that I thought I'd fixed has not been fixed properly, which is a bit of a bummer. But to make up for that, obviously, just for that thing, I have a very good friend of mine who... So I was discussing this with my friend, who I'll introduce in just a moment. I usually give every second person on the show a specific title that I haven't had to duplicate so far. So you guys have been familiar with Phil, the co-host, and then we've also had Francois, the guest host. So those two things are taken for now. So instead I'm going to have to rely on this lovely friend's nationality. Some might say the best nationality, unbiased, obviously, from my perspective. And introduce the Danish guest host. Danish guest host, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Everybody. So now that we're all here, me and my Danish guest host are going to be taking your requests, hopefully entertaining you as well. While I do that, maybe you can tell us a little bit about if you are familiar with the Commodore 64. Is this a computer you have used before?
Sure, I have seen it, but like the music here.
I like you start with to see it. That's a good first step.
I was born in that age, yeah, and sure I played so I like the music.
Hey, that's all you need to be on this show. I am going to take the requests. I'm going to start off with a non-request to begin with, and I have a good reason for that as well. We're going to be kicking it off with a classic, some might say, which is Binster's Ghouls and Ghosts, and then I'll get into why someone might have noticed that the chat is running a bit rugged. I'm also going to pop in there now and see if some of the bugs that I thought were fixed aren't actually fixed, but we'll get to that. In the meantime, please enjoy Binster with Ghouls and Ghosts, the Poltergeist mix. What is a good radio show without a bit of dead air? I ask my Danish guest host.
I don't know. I always have dead air in my shows.
I can tell you what it is: a professional show. And we don't do professional here. Oh man,
and I'm happy about that.
That's good. That's
it's
good.
my chance to get into this showbiz.
Yes, you can be at the low level where I start off.
Oh, fantastic.
Right. So first of all, much appreciated to Shargo for giving a shout out to where the YouTube stream is, which is awesome. Thank you very much, Shargo, and I also very much appreciate you guys testing out the chat again. I am trying to fix things, and LP Chip, as you pointed out already, the users at the top aren't quite updating. If you do refresh, it should be up to date. But I have actually fixed the invalid date issue from last week. So, that's 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
Progress.
Yes, correct. Progress, yes. All right. Yes, also empty line. Yes, LP Chip. That's very deliberate. I like that you people are trying to break things left and right as usual. It's what I've come to expect really from the lovely people at Slay Radio. Yes, new lines are purposefully not processed because the Commodore 64 just couldn't handle them back then. Really, it's not it's not this fake chat I made. I'm just replicating the real thing. And there was no enter back in 1982, as far as I recall. No, obviously there was, but for chat purposes, makes it easier to keep it all on the line, basically. So we figured out that you had you'd seen a Commodore 64. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And did like anyone in your family or maybe some friends have one? Do you remember where you ran into one?
Yeah, it was pretty hard in that time. It was on there was a kid. Mm-hmm. On my block, he had it. So you needed to play with him.
Yes, he had to be his friend, basically, to go play. Hey, I think everybody has that story. Yeah, so you need to play with this guy, and then...
Yeah, I grew up in an Apple family, so we only had that.
Oh, man, it's at this point, if I had, if you were on a different microphone, I'd cut that microphone.
But now it's the same.
Yes, now it's the same. Yes, I can't get rid of you. God, that's tough. Right, an Apple family. I thought the statement you made about having to play with this other kid to get to the toys is one my brother knew enough to the point where a friend of his who had these Lego machines, he would call him up and he'd start asking hey, are your machines at home? Because, they were joking, of course, but
sure.
Yeah. Look, one thing I'm gonna say before we get any further is some of you watching the stream, and by the way, I think I should announce this. First of all, thank you for Shargo for letting everyone in the chat know there is a separate video stream attached. It should have higher audio quality as well. I'm going to throw that in there too. I did look at the upstream rate that I did for the last show, and apparently the rate I had chosen was suboptimal. You, as a physician, know all about suboptimal numbers, I'm guessing.
Oh, I like...
You like suboptimal numbers? Well, I don't. Not on this show. What we want is optimal, not professionalism. We're not going to aim that high, but we want to steer away from suboptimal numbers.
I thought we were at that tier.
At the professional, or what tier?
The suboptimal tier.
Yes, right. Yes, exactly. We're at the totally. This is the optimal tier to be at. Yes, so as I was saying, I've upped the bit rate. It should be about, I think it was YouTube XSplit said something like 6,000 or something. That's what we're at. We were at 2,000. So if anyone's listening in over YouTube and not Slay Radio, where the audio quality is probably the very best, it should be better than last time, is basically what I'm saying. What's not better than last time is it looks a bit chunkier in the stream, and that's because I'm running this program in debug mode, and I'll get back to why. In the meantime, I'm gonna log... Oh, also, someone does say better quality, which is good, but I'm going to line up the first request of the evening, which I believe was... Let's have a quick look here, just a second. Here we go, sys64738_ wanted some XX Dusty Metal Tusker Subtune 3, and made this request just before the show started. And I believe if everything is working out, I have hopefully gotten that song ready. There we go. That's the song I wanted. Actually, I've thought of something. We're going to have a chat about that in a minute, guest host. But in the meantime, we've lined this track up. People are in the chat. Things are working. Hope you guys are here to have some fun. We're here to 10. Well, 10 Australian time, but like earlier in Europe. Anyway, here is Metal Tusker.
Time, weather, and... Case.
That was XX Dusty XX Metal Tusker Subtune 03, requested by Sys64738 underscore. You know, that just rolls off the tongue, wouldn't you say?
You're very precise.
Yeah, it's just like Sys64738 dash underscore. Like, it's just like, hey, who doesn't have a friend with that name? You can imagine it being heard in a warehouse. Like, yo, Sys673-8, come over here.
Yeah, I would hope that you play one song with that.
With that in, like, as part of the lyrics?
Maybe.
Fair enough. Anyway, I thought that I was going to come back and speak as to why the stream is a little bit chunky for those of you watching it. It's chunky because I am running Plan Mix Play, which is the software which is running the show, in debug mode, because I had a giant explosion crash at the end of last show, as you may remember, and I have not gotten much closer to figuring out exactly what went wrong. So the easiest way is to simply run it into the ground again.
And take a co-host with you.
Correctly, yes. Share the blame, as I see it. This is so at the end of the show, I can say, man, that guy, he really fucked things up.
Sure, and I can just escape around the world.
Yes, exactly. But the important thing is you're not here, so you can't defend yourself. Next show, I can put all the blame on you, and I'm in the clear. I'm like,
but I can still hear you.
That's true. Yes, I can't get away with it. And now that we're broadcasting to both Slay Radio and YouTube, there's always going to be a record. It's a bit of a problem.
Sure.
LP Chip remembers. No, you don't. And also, LP Chip, stop breaking the chat. Stop testing various enter methods. I'm looking at you. Anyway, and also I'm going to quote that, and none of you really know what that means, and probably won't, because the show will crash before we get to that sweet ass feature. In the meantime, we're going to take another request, and then I'm going to talk a bit about what I have fixed. So I'm going to talk about the stuff that's not broken, which is easier to talk about the stuff that is broken, because arguably that's a huge list. The stuff that's fixed is like teeny weeny. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it, Madman. I hope you guys are enjoying. Are you enjoying yourself, Danish guest superhost?
Sure, and it seems like you learned a lot.
You mean from last show?
Yeah, I just mean like looking at the positive and so on.
Absolutely.
It's a very good values. I can see why this show is so popular.
Hey. Yeah, I'll pay you that money later that we agreed upon.
I hear the violins. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. There is totally no swear filter, and there is no tune, and there's nope. It's very. Oh, and here the song is almost lined up. Actually, let's move that a bit. I'm gonna play. Oh, phew, that didn't trigger yet. Before we get to the request, we're having too much fun here. Who was it requested by? Shargo. Yes, Shargo. You want a music wizard with Gina Sisters Castle Enhanced? I've not heard this song yet. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen Music Wizard. I don't recognize that arranger, basically. So this would be not only a new song for me, but also a new composer. So I would say take it away, Music Wizard. So that was Music Wizard Gina Sisters Castle Enhanced Mix, requested by Shargo. And Shargo mentioned in the chat as well he hadn't listened to that before either. And neither had me and the guest host. Any thick feelings you're feeling as you've heard the song now?
No, it's open up. I mean, this song was a lot different from what I'm heard almost entirely from this channel. So yeah, it was interesting choice, I would say. Yeah.
I think the term different can be applied to quite a few remixes.
Sure.
Especially coming on C64. But hey, look, I think there are some really talented people out there, and then there are some people out there. I think that's look. There is like this running gag about a guy who used to do remixes for the community, the scene as it's called Honorability. To some, he was a great hero, and to most people, I think he was more the laughingstock, as I understand it, unfortunately.
So he was just that guy.
Yes, he was that guy. And I think it wasn't that he wasn't good, because nobody starts out good. It was that he didn't take criticism particularly well, and he didn't improve or change. Kind of like me. I don't take criticism well either. So if you don't like the show, fuck off.
Oh, so this is my last show.
Correct. I like you. You're smart. You can hang around. So in the meantime, also I gotta say I appreciate that people are using classic Commodore 64 commands to see if they can get the and look, I wanna put stuff in that does new stuff like for the chat. But I just haven't gotten to that point yet. So people putting poke in there currently does nothing. Hopefully it will one day.
But keep up the good spirit. I mean, test the system.
Yes, that's what we're here for, really. At the end of the day. And I guess I should mention that there's a certain delay. You actually don't know this. That there's a delay between what we say and what goes out on the Slay Radio stream. There is a delay on the YouTube stream as well.
So this is Danish time or
not that delayed? We're talking like 18 seconds, not 18 hours. So if we say something and people have a comment on that, don't be surprised if the comment is maybe 15 minutes late. So basically what I'm saying, even if no one is laughing at your jokes, people are probably really laughing at your jokes. They're like, this is the funniest shit we've ever heard.
So give it 18 seconds.
Exactly.
And I'm sure they will react on the chat.
Correct. It's just like, any stand-up comedian is like, a horse walks into a bar and the bartender asks why the long face. And then you just go quiet for 18 seconds and you hear, wait, they're laughing. They'll get there. It's coming.
Oh, so we are making some jokes and we see if the chat can catch up.
I am, but I don't know if you are. That was my plan. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's fixed, but I think I'm gonna also, since you're new to the show, I will tell you one of my favorite things to do is to tease. So I will talk about a thing, and then I'll be like, I'm not gonna say that thing yet. Gonna say it after the next song.
Well, you need to be fast because coming up.
Yes, you're right. Is XX Dusty with To Be On Top S2 2K9 rework. Requested by Chris Barnes. And he says please. We love people who say please, so you're very welcome. We're playing it right now. There we go with XX Dusty XX to be on top S2, the 2K9 rework, which is, popular way to phrase 2009. And Tub64, welcome to the stream chat. Hopefully you are having fun in there as well. It seems like people are enjoying this sort of more visual aspect of the show, which I'm really, really keen on because I worked my butt off to have some of it work, sort of. I think that was Chris Barnes, wasn't it? Let me just double check. Yes, Chris Barnes. Thank you very much for requesting that. Now, I am going to... I promised I'd say a little bit about what has been fixed, which is a very short list. As I mentioned before, the poor audio quality from XSplit to YouTube, it was set at around 2200. It's now been bumped up to 6500, so it's a 3 times improvement on that one. The audio output used to be 228k bits per second, and that is quite shitty because when I broadcast to... that's the thing, a little fun behind-the-scenes fact here. Usually, the transmission to Slay Radio is actually 192 kilobits per second as well, but then on the end of Slay Radio, Slaygon has done a little bit of voodoo magic and crunches that down to 128 kilobits per second as well. And this should, I think, I have an upstream of about 40 megabits per second. This should be enough. And also, since I'm running in debug mode, it's a terrible way of testing dropped frames, so let's not worry about that. LP Chip has been very diligent in trying to crash the chat and do weird things, so he'll probably be happy to know that I did actually listen to... actually, maybe it was Luna who someone gave this piece of advice, and maybe it is you, LP Chip. I apologize if I've forgotten if it was you, but someone said to me, hey, on the website, on planmixplay.com, instead of showing 73 live shows, show like 70 plus live shows. Like, make the numbers sound bigger. See, we're all about optimal. We're back to optimal numbers again. And the optimal number, if you've done 73 live shows, is not 73. It's 70 plus. It's more than 70.
I'm a fan.
Yep. And if you've done 76 shows, it's more than 75. You make it an even, 75, 80, 85, 90.
Oh, so the next number is on my top 10?
Yes. Well, I mean, we can do a top 10 favorite numbers list here. I don't see a problem with that. Okay. I don't see those as my favorite numbers, but it's
in your around top 75?
Yeah, maybe. Yes, somewhere around there.
Oh, yeah.
So that's been fixed. Yes, it was LP Chip. He gets a smile. He gets
sure.
a gold star for that, LP Chip. Hey, look, we're responsive. Improvements.
I actually have a question.
Shoot.
This wonderful name you talked about to be a hero in this society of making music.
Did I? Hero?
Or just the man.
Oh, the man, yes. Honorability, yes, this hero. Correct. Yeah. What about him?
No, I thought about XX Dusty XX.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say about him?
Very little.
Okay.
As in, all I know is he does pretty good remixes.
Yeah, it sounds like that. And he's also like a fan favorite.
So it seems to be. Actually, I'd say the request, it kind of comes and goes, but XX Dusty XX, which, man, is also not a great pronunciation. It's better than Sys671, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, don't...
Maybe we should just call
Don't attack your fans.
No, I'm not attacking them. I'm just saying, hey, I'm judging people's nameology. I have a terrible name. I'm not a hypocrite. I will stand by my terrible name. But I guess this is because these are stage names,
Oh, yeah.
And I guess XX Dusty XX, it's really my fault. I can just call him Dusty.
Or you can put it together.
You mean
Dusty?
Zusty?
Yeah.
You're right. That just rolls off the tongue. Full of good advice.
Yeah.
One last thing that I was going to just mention as an improvement as well is, well, 2 things actually, 2 minor things before we move on to the next request, which I believe is by LP Chip. He does a lot. He requests and he suggests.
And he's your system.
Yes, he's the suggesting tester requester, basically, all rolled into one. So input sanitation is I'll get to Tub. I'll get to the 16 by 9 C64 bit that someone's noticed, which I'm pleased to see someone's. In fact, I'm gonna click this and quote that. I like that. That if that works, that's gonna be great. Probably won't work, but anyway, let's give it a shot. Two other things I've improved. Man, gotta get through these. Input sanitation, yes. As much and as fun as it is to break the input and put in new lines and all kinds of crazy crap, I've tried to cut down on that. So yes, for the sake of the purity of the system, you can no longer do this for now. Maybe sometime in the future. And the final thing is, you may have noticed that there are actually join and leave triggers as well. So if you leave the chat, which means just browse to another page, if you exit, it will show that you have left. And if you join the website and the chat shows up, you will appear as though you've joined the chat. So I think that's pretty neat.
Does that also account for the hosts?
Yes, it does. Correct. In fact, even the application is in as an actual user. In fact, I will direct your attention while we're sitting here, and nobody's getting anything out of this but we are, because they can't see what we're doing, but it's my show, goddammit, and I can do what the hell I want. As you'll notice here, here's the applications, PlanMix Play, and here I am, Gazoo. And here are the other lovely people. We have Shargo, Tub64, Madman, LP Chip. Apologies if I've forgotten anyone. Yes, what's
Only
up?
when you refresh.
Yes, unfortunately, this part doesn't update automatically.
Sure.
It will one day.
What? So I'm not there.
No, you're not there. But also, you're not on the website.
Oh, no.
And why would you need to be? You're here. You're in the studio.
And I only seen a Commodore.
Yes, correct. That is another good reason why you're not in the chat. These people,
Sure.
Look, you got to give the chat responsibility to people who can handle it. And if you've only seen a Commodore 64 but not used one...
Oh, I used one.
See, now I'm already trusting... I'm doubting, how trustworthy these statements
It's more
are.
the music. It's
okay.
a long time since.
All right, fair enough. Hey, you bring up a good point, music.
No.
We're going to play some more music. And in fact, someone had a request that involved the guest host, which is to say LP Chip, who wrote, "Hey Gazoo and co-host, I'd love to hear..." No, wait. What was this? That was Boyer. We're gonna do that later. Sorry.
Oh, sure.
We're gonna do LP Chip's earlier request. Who he wanted a bit of Moog and wanted Sid Factory 1, and I'm very happy to oblige with that. So let my fat fingers just drag that thing over here and let go.
It seems like in slow motion.
Yes, which it is, because this is running in debug mode. Because I can't fix the problem without it, unfortunately, for now. Right, so let's move that just a tad closer. There we go. So, this guy's really good. So listen with both your ears. It's Moog with Sid Factory 1. was Moog Sebastian. Well, Moog, for those of you not in the know, and my Danish guest host would probably not know this. Moog's real name is Sebastian Bachlinski, which, another very awesome DJ on this radio station, Boz, who is currently not a regular anymore. He used to have a great kind of a comedy bit where he'd say like his real name is Sebastian Bach and then play a lot of weird sound effects, just kind of fucking up his name for fun. He did that. He had objectively more comedy and a better show.
And it seems like you have been hosting for a long time.
Yes, and I've not improved yet. I'm still shitty.
But you learned his name.
Yes, correct. Arguably, Boz never figured it out. He always got to the first bit of Sebastian Bach and then like a lot of weird noises.
Sure.
So yeah, that was for LP Chip. LP Chip, thank you much. Thank you very much for requesting that, and thank you for joining us in the chat. I actually did have a topic I was gonna bring up for one part of the show, which is video game remakes. Are they any good? And I'm thinking about this because it's getting more and more prevalent to have companies basically take an old game and say, hey, we're HDifying it, right? Here's old game HD, or when they really want to be clever, they put out a game like, have you played Darkstalkers? Does that ring a bell?
No,
okay.
Definitely not. Yeah.
So Darkstalkers is kind of a Zelda-like game, but instead you play death, so it's not a cutesy, happy, fun
not
time.
Much
no, it's a little
sweetness.
No, exactly. It's a little harsher universe. And the guy, what is it? The guy you play is War. You know the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Famine, war, pestilence, and death.
That fine
something.
fellow. Yeah.
Exactly, the good guy. And so they were very clever. So when they re-released the game, it was Darkstalkers War Mastered Edition. Huh? Get it? Yeah.
I see that.
And then the second one was called Darkstalkers 2 Definitive Edition. See? Fuck. I know. Look, I get why. It's just kind of crazy.
But I would say that it also happened with such lovely songs as we listen to. They transition to classical music.
Sure, and look, people are remaking C64 songs, but the reason I'm bringing up the games thing is because I'd like to think that the games maybe don't. Are maybe more of a cohesive thing in a way. As in, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying this is such a good game, we want to bring it back, and everyone who's played it, I don't know, a decade ago, will be eager to see what we've done with it. But if you think of video game like progression as kind of a curve that evens out, like if we're talking about the game technology, right? So we have a curve here. I'd say as time keeps going, this curve is kind of flattening out. Like, think of the monumental jumps we made in video game graphics from the C64 to, the Amiga, to the PC, to a PC 5 years later, right? It's massive.
It's massive.
But now think of, so if you remastered a game that was maybe 10 years old, 10 years ago, then that would be a huge change. But remastering a game maybe 10 years ago today, especially a PC game, that's a horse of a different color. Like, things may not have changed that much. Do you think, because I think I see a game like, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I noticed a new game, Mark of the Ninja, has now been remastered. And what's really cool is that this company is saying, hey, look, if you own the old game, $5 and you'll get the new one. Which is, I think, nice. But when I saw the upgrade, I was also like, this game came out like...
It was only $5.
Well, no, it wasn't. It was 20. But it was more that this game came out like 10 years ago, and it was a 2D platformer. And do you think a lot has happened in like visuals and 2D platforming if you had like a big team back then? I would say not very much.
But what about the music-wise?
I don't think the music actually has changed one bit. I think the changes are to like the visuals mainly.
Often, yeah. They don't pay a symphony orchestra to play one new.
I could see them do that at some point, but it's more like, I guess my view is, would you rather have them working on something entirely new, or do you think these remakes are, make life worth living?
But now I have been seeing like symphony orchestra playing Star Wars and Lara Croft and so on, and I just ask here on Slay Radio when you are going into symphony orchestras and XX Dusty XX are played in my local concert.
Mm-hmm. But that's just the music. I'm talking about the game here.
Sure,
Think of it from like, because, the resources are finite. So for a video game, would you rather have a new game, or would you rather have the game you already played 10 years ago, polished up a little bit?
Sometimes I see myself, I bought some remastered.
What, for example? Give me that's...
Nations. Yeah, Rise of Nations.
And there's a remastered version of that?
Yeah, or a HD one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a good experience to come back, and it was aged very well. It was like, how long is that? 15 years? But it survived.
See, but that's the thing. If you say it's aged well, I would argue it hasn't, because why would it then need an HD update, right? So the old game was still not really worth playing. Or what did they upgrade? They upgraded the graphics, I presume?
Yeah,
gameplay is kind of the same, though, right?
Yeah, they didn't do much in that wise. It was almost the old game, just with some visual,
so higher
tuning,
resolution. Okay. And how much did that cost?
Not so much, but more than like normal old games. Yeah. So maybe $10 or something. Yeah.
Okay. I think I also don't want to be the naysayer and be like give me goddamn new video games. I just think there are certain games where I don't necessarily feel a remaster was necessary, and I think for Darksiders, it's not Darkstalkers, Darksiders, I don't know if I needed a new version of that already. Like that was because that game, I don't know. I remember seeing the remaster. I was like, is this new? Does it look better? I'm sure it does, but I'd have to look at them side by side and go like, hey, those pixels in the corner there, those 4, man, those are some nice pixels. Whereas the old one already looked pretty good.
Sure, and in strategy, it's not much about like the graphic.
No, but I can see why someone might say, let's say Age of, what is it, what is the classic one from, you might know this, Microsoft, the one that has these like taunt buttons where it's like, the wonder, the no, or like, nice town, I'll take it.
Oh, I'm not sure about
Age
that.
of Wonders, I think, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, and that game was like, that had significant AI problems as well, like pathfinding and shit, and I can see someone doing a nice overhaul of that. But Darksiders was like...
not so often in the remaster that the AI is upgraded.
I don't know. I'd hope, but maybe you're right.
It seems not like it in the most games I tried.
Yeah, maybe. Either way, look, this is the thing where I would, ask people in the chat if they have an opinion of this. And in the meantime, we will play a request by, I believe it was Boyer, who said... a random favorite tune from the co-host. So you've already got you've already got fans out there.
Sure,
guest
I'm
hosts.
happy about that. And on top of my head, I would say Skids with 9 fingers.
Club Mix?
I would like the Club Mix.
No, perfect, because that's the one I happen to have.
Oh.
What random happenstance? Like how man, what luck.
But I always loved the Commodore's Club Mix.
Right, because it had so many of them.
Sure.
I don't remember that, but I might be wrong.
Yeah,
I'm also getting old, so
it seems like a nice feature.
Right. Well, in any case, Boyer, you get Skits and 9 Fingers, the Club Mix. Take it away, Skits. And that was Skits with 9 Fingers, the club mix, requested by Boyer, who just wanted, any random favorite song by our current favorite Danish guest host on the show. You're here with me, Gazoo as well, and we'll be hanging out for another hour. This is the half point of the show, and I thought since we're already doing this up-tempo stuff, why don't we keep it going? Crax Ultima joins us as well and had a request, which is You See To Me, Sam's Journey. I've seen LP Chip is still cracking away at seeing what he can do, and sure enough, found something new to do. Anyway, in the meantime, this is You See To Me with Sam's Journey title theme remix. And that was You See To Me, or Uk To Me. We have a lot of, clearly a lot of composers with interesting names here.
You're learning that, like, to put it together?
Yes.
Like, Dusty?
Still not buying that. I mean, to me, but that's because, you know, no one says this is XXX. No one says this is X rated. They say this is XXX rated, right?
I just hear you say to me.
Well, this because Oos to me, because there's a U and a C.
Oh.
Yes, it's a different thing. See, if it was spelled XXX to me, then yes, X to me. Maybe.
I'm just wondering how you're going to say the next number.
The next one is easy actually, because the upcoming and this brings up a great point that I like to do as well. Like, name something in advance and then say, but we're not getting there yet. Like saying the next song is by LP Chip, but we're not going to play it yet.
Oh,
Just to be a bit of a tease.
I heard about that guy before.
Yes, so have I. He has a habit of trying to break the C64 style chat that's going on.
And how are you feeling about the number? Would that break something?
The number? As in like
I mean, the next one.
Oh, the song.
The musical number.
No, that should be fine. And also Leah joins the chat. Leah was in the chat actually last week, but I don't think she said anything. She joined and then she left again. She was like, this place is lame. And then she was just, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't know. Maybe Leah thought, this place is so awesome, I can't hang around here for too long.
But when did she leave?
I don't.
The end of the show.
I don't know actually. All I know is that she left because I didn't have the join and leave functionality writing it out.
So you couldn't see
I couldn't really see. All I knew that at some point she left again.
Oh.
And she didn't say anything.
But it could be when you said like no more music.
Possibly. I don't remember saying that though.
Because your show crashed.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, now she left again. See, Leah left. See, she once again she joined. Someone made a smiley face and then she left. This fits my story. See, it all adds up.
I think you should ask your chat about like saying hello to Leah next time she.
Oh, that's a good idea. We should have that. Like guys who what do we have? Madman and LP Chip. Actually, LP Chip smiled. Like that's also a pretty good greeting. If you smile at someone and they turn around and leave at the door they came through, I'm not sure you could have done anything any better. I think you're already pretty good.
I would say there's kind of like an 80-second curse. So when people try to say, hey, it's nice to see you, then she just leave because no one reacted.
So you think it was too late?
Yeah, I mean, the delay.
I see she's back again now. And now she's having a good time.
Okay, perfect.
I think we did it.
I hope the chat makes some noise for
exactly
Leah.
Make Leah feel welcome.
Sure.
I still especially like LP Chip smiling at her and then she just turns around and leaves again. There's something. I mean, look, no offense, LP Chip, that is very funny. It's not a criticism. I'm sure your smile is impeccable. It's just tremendously funny to have someone be smiled at and their immediate reaction to that is to turn around and exit again.
Yeah.
I mean, a smile can be intimidating. But you know what? A smile can also be infectious.
Oh.
We all like smiles.
And knowing that, I'm very excited for the next song. Is that where LP Chip have smiled through it?
I hope so. He made the song. I don't know if LP... I mean, look, since LP Chip is in the chat, we have a direct line. If you want, this is your one opportunity to ask him if he was smiling while making said song.
But it's today.
Yes, but that doesn't mean you can't ask the question. It just means the answer will be delayed. Unless you're so impatient that by the time the answer gets here, you're already, on another thing, like the modern youth.
But that makes me like I should swim in my answer for like 20 seconds.
Yes, you will have to arm yourself with patience.
So with the blank spaces you were talking about.
Yes, but we don't have to have dead air. We can, come up with shit in between. Otherwise, and this is a good point here, my show would be nothing but dead air. If I couldn't fill the void with nonsense and bullshit, I would not have a show.
So you're not talking with your fans out there?
I'm talking out of my ass is what I'm saying here. But I hope that I have people, who are still listening regardless. Yeah, I've heard that's not a bad one. Well, anyway, why don't we leave it up to LP Chip to decide if he wants to disclose whether or not his... he says, he smiled when you announced his name on the air for the next request.
Yeah.
I think that's as close as we'll ever get to the truth, really.
What the song is about, yeah.
All I can say it's from the game Falcon Patrol.
Oh.
I think I played that game. Pretty sure it's a helicopter game.
Oh, I played that game.
You played that game?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. It is a famous game.
Do you know any more than that it's about helicopters?
Right, is it some kind of desert, I remember?
Are you sure you're not thinking about Desert Strike?
No.
Falcon Patrol?
Yeah.
Maybe people in the chat can corroborate your story.
Okay.
I just remember helicopters flying around. That's what I remember.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's a second game. There's a Falcon Patrol 2. Anyway, This was requested by Bane. We should name. We've now said the author many times. The composer, let's say the requester, Bane. He requested this. So this is for you, Bane. Take it away. LP Chip with Falcon Patrol SID Overdrive Mix. That was for Bane, who requested LP Chip with Falcon Patrol SID Overdrive Mix, where LP Chip has kindly let us know that it's got absolutely nothing to do with helicopters, contrary to widespread belief, really. Fake news, maybe even, some would say.
Or bad memory.
Yeah, bad memory as well. It's quite... Look, the thing is, I remember seeing, like, different types of planes moving in, like, up and down columns as kind of part of the title screen. And I thought that was Falcon Patrol. And also, I do appreciate that LP Chip basically kind of spamming the chat a bit with kind of a, well, basically a big-ass logo of Plan Mix Play. Which, you know, because I'm making this thing, I appreciate that. Yeah. Even though it's a bit of spam.
But always nice with some art in the chat.
Correct. Until that art kind of takes over and there's nothing but art. Up next, we have a bit of Macke, which a lot of people pronounce as Mackie.
Oh.
Yes, and I happen to know that it's Macke because he's a Swedish guy.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and you've spoken a bit of Swedish, or you've interacted.
Sure,
with...
I mean, country neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say you are more international than a lot of other Danes, I would argue.
Or hosts.
Yes, correct. Francois is probably international, and Phil, he's been Japan. Look, I have very international hosts, I guess is what I'm getting at. So,
yeah.
So compared to them, maybe not leagues and leagues, but you're definitely above the average Dane, I would say.
Sure, but I've been working a lot with my Swedish.
Yeah.
But
is it something you speak a lot? Do you speak a bit of Swedish?
Yeah, I try to, but they never think that it's real Swedish. So, I'm very impressed that you roll out in the native tongue of Macke.
Macke, yeah. I mean, look, I had someone. I actually had a guest recently stay who spoke a bit of Swedish as well.
Okay.
But the vocabulary is what's missing. So I would say my pronunciation is generally good. But yeah, the vocabulary is what goes first.
Sure.
Anyway,
so the title is in your alley.
Yes. Well, the composer is Macke. The rest echoes of the master is not really a Swedish thing, I would say.
And what would you say about that game?
Well, so this is, as far as I get it, is actually not a game title. It's like him mixing together 2 or 3 different game songs, and then calling it Echoes of the Master in terms of hey, these are the brilliant, creators of the time. And I actually really like the song. It's kind of a medley, you would say.
Okay.
And I really like that. And unfortunately, Macke, while we're on the subject of Macke, he isn't really making a lot of songs anymore because he got busy with real important life. So he used to be pretty big and active in the scene. I think these days he's busy and active bringing up kids.
Okay.
Which is a worthwhile endeavor as well.
Yeah.
I just have to remind myself, because I have a terrible memory of who actually wanted something. It was Madman, yes. Said Macke, song, own choice, which I interpret as we get to choose which one. And Madman, I've chosen Echoes of the Master. Hopefully that's to your liking. If not, I guess just request something else again. But if so, great. In the meantime, take it away, Macke. Gotta say, I'm a big fan of that very kind of offbeat, strange ending. And also, I just want to apologize to Leah for overlooking her question if anyone was coming to Back in Time live, I think the 12th of October, which some other people maybe. I'm sad to say that I will not be able to make that trip because that is probably a bit too far for me to fly, unfortunately. I'm not in Leah leaves just as I'm talking to her. Seems to be a repeating pattern. Someone does something and she's out. I'm joking, of course. There is a long delay. In any case, and she's back again. In any case, yeah, I'm not going, unfortunately. Wish I was. I wish I could go to a few more C64 centered events. I did have a great time at the gathering that I was a couple of years back. Yeah. In the meantime, let's see here. Right, I forgot to say, that was requested by Madman, and we chose Makke with Echoes of the Master. TPFO joins us as well, who I'm not sure has listened in before. I don't recognize the nickname, but, who knows. And also throws a request our way, which seems to be a new song by Slagon, because I don't remember hearing the song before, or at least seeing it on remix.kwed. So, TPFO, I'm going to play that song for you, which is Slagon with Deep Shit Serum in Your Veins. Oh, sorry about that dead air. Once again, I've had to reach. I reached into the playpen and asked people politely not to spam. Despite you need to say things twice, basically.
Good luck.
Yeah, I get yes. And the thing is, eventually these things will be taken care of by the system as well. They're just not there yet. So until then, I'm gonna have to ask people to behave themselves.
Oh, so happy intelligence.
Happy intelligence.
Or like police intelligence you put in your system.
Yes, exactly. To make people, well, maybe not happy, but to keep people in check. But hey, this is how prototype software works. I expect it to crash. And I thank you very much for the compliment. I appreciate Crax Ultima about the C64 chat window being a nice touch. It's something I have worked on for a while, so I'm happy to see it's finally working out. It has been actually, well, that's not exactly true. It hasn't quite been working until now. Now it's kind of finally coming together. But this has kind of been coming for a while. So yeah, I'm just pleased to see it working. Still exciting to me, really.
Sure.
You
love progress and positive
yes,
chat.
absolutely.
Well,
And I like that people are kind of poking and jiggering and seeing if it can do stuff. And I wish it could do more stuff. It can. That is to say, it will do some more stuff. Right now, it's fairly limited. Right now, it's mostly just a chat.
so it's only the spam you're...
Yes, right now I'm just concerned about that. But that's a pretty easy thing to fix when we get to the next show. It depends. Look, it's a classic thing. If it becomes a priority that's high enough, I'll fix that first. But then that will come before adding new features.
So just got spam.
No, because that will mean it'll get in the way of new features. Why are you here in the show? Why you're supposed to be helping me, guest host.
Yeah, sure.
Let's take another request. This time LP Chip, I believe, wanted Last V8 DJ's Choice, and I've chosen the Luke Hash version live YouTube vid. So LP Chip, hope that was the version you were secretly hoping for all along.
V8 returns to base immediately.
And that was the Last V8, this time by Luke Hash, requested indirectly by LP Chip, who just wanted DJ's Choice. And we happened to choose Luke Hash's version, which is quite nice. Mind in a Box has a version as well that I would perhaps be more likely to play if I wasn't also broadcasting on YouTube. That is one of the downsides. Their ID content system will match anything that has had a commercial release. And I am not, as of yet, part of a multi-channel network, so I have no protection against that. I don't know if this is... Are you familiar with this Danish guest host?
If I'm familiar with the system or with the Danish guest host?
I hope you're familiar with the latter. I'm more talking about the former, where if you're part of a multi-channel network, an MCN, there are actually ways of playing material that you don't have the copyright for and avoiding the content match system.
That kind of magic I would love to learn, but I don't know.
Well, I think the way to get there is to just become popular enough. If you grow a big enough audience, a multi-channel network will take you under their wing, and then they'll be like, hey, if you join us, we'll kind of handle this part of it somewhat.
And do you feel you are there yet?
No, not at all. Couldn't be further from it.
Okay.
I'm like, that's like comparing, I would say a multi-channel network would be like, I don't know, Obama's inauguration speech, and I'm the hobo on a soapbox on a corner. Like, that's maybe the audience difference.
But it seems like a far thing to fetch. Like, to feel that you're even close.
Yes, I don't feel I'm close.
Okay,
I'm not sure I'm following you. I'm the hobo on the soapbox, in case that was...
Sure, I'm just checking if you feel like in that way, yeah.
No, even though I will say I do appreciate a couple of people have subscribed to the YouTube channel associated with Plan Explain now that everything's kind of up and running. And in case I should actually mention this at the start of the show, everything that people say in the chat is kind of left for all posterity. So, you know, people who tune in and watch the video can see this chat afterwards. And this was kind of part of the reason why I wanted to integrate this chat to, like, you know, give people more of an idea of being a participant there. And also, I think it has visual flair. Oh,
so you feel like Commodore is beginning to be popular on YouTube?
Oh, I maybe... Yes, definitely. Once I came along, man. No, I think it's just more... I just like the whole thing of having a chat run on a C64, and it looks pretty cool.
Oh, it does.
We should take another song, and this time Shargo wanted D's with Autumn Symphony, because it's that season here. The fourth Chameleon remix, so take it away, D's. So that was D's with Autumn Symphony 4th Chameleon remix, because as Shargo wrote, it's that season of the year and his half of the globe, obviously not here. And LP Chip gives a few suggestions to the system, and I agree, absolutely. If people just refresh the page that they're currently on, which would be the website domain that has the chat, it shouldn't actually have people coming and going. But, you know, it's, man, there are a lot of things to fix, but I do appreciate the suggestions. I do note them down, or at least posthumously look at them after the fact. I do go through the show again and kind of pick out the highlights. And since my voice is on the way out, I've been talking a lot today. We're just going to go into another song. This time I picked out one of my favorites, which happens to be Your Lille Doll with Hardcore Hubbard Mix. I haven't heard that one in a while. This is a kind of another medley. But for those of you who haven't, I highly recommend it. Take it away, Your Lille Doll. And there we have a little bit of Joje Liljedahl with Hardcore Hubbard Mix. And LP Chip is having the time of his life, pretending that there's an 8-ball in the chat. But hey, when we can mess around with this rookie-made chat that I've slapped together, it's easy to get it to do a lot of stuff. And look, to be honest, I think it's super cool. I can't be entirely disparaging of that. Also, this is the most people we've ever had in that C64 chat, ever. I think we were like 8 people or something. It's pretty awesome.
So you kind of up 400%
yeah,
last week?
Yeah, last week was like 2 or 3 or something.
Keep on the good work, I would say, yeah.
Hey, if it goes like this every week, isn't it something in a month I'll have 1 million?
Sure, I'm back in a year, so yeah.
Yep. Oh, and Madman mentioning buffering issues. Probably not related to things on my end, though, because I would be seeing if I had any drop. I mean, that's easy to say, but if you can confirm that this number is 0, which is where it's supposed to say dropped frames, and if there are no dropped frames, that's a YouTube thing.
And the delay is not in your side, too?
No.
No.
And, yeah, in the meantime, me and my guest host are going to line up the last... maybe not. Actually, yes, this is the last song before the wind down tune, which we always do. Mm-hmm. You being unfamiliar with the show's format, there's always a wind down tune at the end. But we're going to play the last request, which is Crack's Ultima's request. And he wanted a song from The Fekis, who has remixed Outrun Europe Stage 6 Euro Mix, which was originally by Eurontel, who has a Kickstarter up about making more C64 music. And man, do people have some opinions about that Kickstarter. Because this was a well, actually, I think it's an Indiegogo. Do you know Indiegogo?
No, but it seems like the same.
It's like Kickstarter, yeah. The difference, for example, is with Indiegogo, you can do what's sort of like, hey, flexible funding, which means if I don't get all the money I ask for, I'll still take the money I get, and then I'll sort of deliver. And I think Eurontel, unfortunately, has had a project run that hasn't quite delivered within the time frame he promised.
Okay.
Which makes some people pretty upset. And some people are more forgiving.
Okay.
I'm not going to comment on the specifics here. Just saying he had a campaign, and I think it's run a bit over time.
And this song?
He's made this originally.
Oh.
So he made the original back for the video game back in like the 80s.
Ah.
So unrelated. I'm just bringing it up as a piece of information.
Sure. Yeah.
So
I'm excited for the next song.
Yeah, I'm too. Crack's Ultima, I hope you're excited as well, because if you're not, something's wrong, because you're the guy who requested this, but hopefully you are. So it is the Fekis remixing Outrun Europe Stage 6 Euromix, the short version. And there we had, that was the Fekis. That's also, speaking about, we've had, Dusty Ksik and UT, what was it, Ux to me or something? I think.
It seemed they put you on the test. Yeah?
Yes, this is to really, it's to throw me for a loop, really.
Improve your program and the host.
Yes,
I like that
correct.
spirit.
Challenge both. So this was the Fekis with Outrun Europe Stage 6 Euro remix, originally composed by Jeroen Tel. And not too long ago, here while we were in the musical break, well, for us hosts, we could, lean back and take it easy for just a second. I was looking at the wind down tune, and then of course it hit me last time we got to this part of the show, the program crashed. And I'll be honest and say to you, dear listeners and dear Danish guest hosts, I think it's going to crash again.
Oh.
In fact, so this is where I'm of two minds. On the one hand, I would love for it to work and finally show people in the chat the ending that I have planned for shows like this, because I think I like the ending. I think it's a cool idea. On the other hand, if it crashes, I can find out what's wrong.
And you can keep the suspense.
Yes, correct. For one more show. Hopefully not longer, because I'm also getting fucking tired of this shit not working.
But it seems not like the chat, they're quite okay that you have suspense for so many shows.
It's good people. We have good people in the chat. And I do appreciate everyone who is in there. In fact, I'm going to, because I'm such a big fan of people actually testing it out, I'm just going to see who's in the chat right now. And that would be Shargo, LP Chip, Madman, Tub64, Cracks Ultima, Tyrone, and Immortal are all hanging out in the chat on planmixplay.com, which I very much appreciate. And I do appreciate people who are on IRC as well, which I think is actually is the same group of people who's been active on the domain. So I'm just excited to see people, using the chat as well and being excited about that too. That's correct, Tub64. We all love each other. So anyway, this is the end of the show. I have a wind down show. I do like LP Chip's enthusiasm. We'll give it a go.
And you hold the time quite good, because I'm just so excited for the crash.
Yes, me too. I'm excited too. So in a moment, I'm gonna start the wind down tune. And it probably doesn't matter, like I said, because as soon as the end portion starts, I think Plan Mix Play is gonna crash.
Oh, I hear the drums.
Yes, which in that case, up front, we might as well say now, thank you everybody for listening in. I had a great time. Did you have a good time as well?
I had a wonderful time, and I learned a lot about Commodores. Yeah,
Commodores, yes,
and especially the games. Yeah.
Yes. I hope you guys out there had a good time too. I don't know when. Thank you, Shargo. I appreciate the sentiment. I don't know when I'll be back with another show. Probably just be a solo show, unfortunately. Might be a week, might be two, might be a little bit more. We'll see.
Yeah.
In either case, we had a good time. I will queue up Andy Gilmore and L-Man with the RoboCop title, and I will see everyone who's listening in hopefully next time. And if the show crashes, my apologies. It will be a very abrupt ending, and I'll do my best to fix it. And hopefully see you guys next week. So, have a very lovely Sunday.
Yeah, I would say the same.